Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Today we got an honor to share a presentation on our paper entitled as Risk Management Implementation in Public Sector Organization, Global Phenomena. This paper basically written by myself and my colleague Al-Fatah Fisabila all together, whereby we divide into the following segment: introduction, literature review, methods, result and discussion, and conclusion and limitation. As introduction or putting into context, there are 4 things that we need to share with you. The first one is the need for integrated risk management in PSO, based on our observation, has been rising in the last decade, along with the uncertainties and risks faced by the PSO to fulfill their mission and mandates. It has been observed during 2009 and 2014 and was implemented by 7 of the G20 countries. Whereas, according to our note, during 2014-2019, 13 of the G20 countries implemented. It means that more than 60%. Whereas, the PSO have used many approaches and techniques on risk management, which is most of them, however, dealing with the risk on the ad hoc basis. Therefore, the study served for its purpose. First one is to understand the ISO 31000 adoption in the PSOs globally and capturing what is the high level of sensing about the key issues and challenges related to its implementation. Based on our literature review, which is basically total constructed by 22 citations, the adoption of integrated risk management PSO is well observed and well noted, whereas issues and challenges related to the risk management implemented in PSO are being analyzed accordingly. And then the result show to us, the literature especially, the adoption of the integrated risk management in PSO. It is represented by the acceptance of international risk management standard, namely ISO 31000 standard, by general government bodies of G20 countries. The G20 countries chosen on the basis of the reason, it could be used as a proxy because they account for most of the world GDP and population. By the end of 2018, they represented 85.7% of the world GDP and 63.5% of the world population, respectively, according to the World Bank. The first version of ISO 31000 standard was issued in 2009, known as ISO 31000-2008 Principles and Guidelines of Risk Management, and the second was launched by the end of 2018, namely by ISO 31000-2018 Principles and Guidelines of Risk Management. The period under review is a cycle of a decade from 2009-2019, divided into 2 phases, i.e. the first phase is from 2009-2014 and the second is from 2015-2019, to see the evolution of the adoption and then how the adoption is actually being accelerated in some G20 countries. Whereas the issues and challenges related to the risk management implementation in PSO, actually there are 2 things divided as a perspective. The first perspective is the issues and challenges which are seen or considered as the trigger to start implementing integrated risk management in the PSO. The second perspective, whereas, is about the issues and challenges related to the implementation of risk management in the PSO itself. Then, the result and discussion show to us that as far as the adoption, there are 4 stages that we could share with you. The first one is during 2009 to 2011, which is basically the first issuance of the ISO. None of G20 countries have implemented ISO 31000 standard. While the second phase, i.e. 2012-2014, United States, China, Japan, United Kingdom, India, South Korea and Turkey have implemented ISO 31000 standard. And then goes 2015-2017, following the first 5 that already implemented, South Africa, Russia, Australia and 28 countries of European Union have implemented ISO 31000 standard. Then the last stage, 2018-2019 of this study, show that Canada and Indonesia have implemented ISO 31000 standard. Therefore, we could say that by end of 2019, there were a total of 13 G20 countries, or 65% of the group, already implemented ISO 31000 standard. If we look at this figure or illustration, then we can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 out of the G20 countries already adopted ISO 31000 standard. It's overall. So then we could say that reasonably that the ISO 31000 already adopted globally by the G20 countries, which is account more than 85% total GDP of the world, and also that more than 60% of the total population. Now we come to the issues and challenges of the implementation. It was found out that there are 4 actually issues and challenges of the implementation: digitalization, governance, human factors, and environmental. When we talk about digitalization, it came up then cyber risk, shadow IT technoeconomy, data leakage, ransomware, etc. When we talk about the government, we talk about the integration of data and reporting, lack of professionalism, competence, and ethics of public service officer, and so on. Human factor, we talk about poor human development, limited resource availability and consistency, corruption, etc. And environmental, it is about the increase in the level of human safety or health, nuclear weapon, natural hazard, environmental disaster, as well as the complexity of disaster fund preparation. So then we came up with a summary of issues and challenges. We can have a look here. Out of the G20 countries that already adopted, we can see then, starting from 2013-2016, that digitalization mostly came up in the most developed countries, whereas the governance, the human factor, actually everywhere, almost everywhere, but more in the less, or we could say the less developed countries. So then we pick it up as a conclusion. The adoption of ISO 31000 standard in the PSO have been notably in the G20 countries right after its birth in 2009, and then widely adopted in the last 10 years from 2009 to 2019. And then since G20 countries account for more than 85.7% of the world GDP and 63.5% of the world population, it is reasonable to say that ISO 31000 standard has been well accepted and fairly adopted globally. By the end of 2019, more than 65% of G20 countries have had adopted ISO 31000 standard flavor. Therefore, some common issues and challenges that have been discovered, i.e. digitalization, governance, environmental and human factor, need to be forwarded, perhaps as the common issues and challenges need to be elaborated further by modern study. However, as actually common in any studies, there are some limitations need to be noted here. First one is, the sample has been purposefully limited to G20 countries. Consequently, it does not reflect other critical factors that might of the issues and challenges which has been experienced by non-G20 countries. And then, therefore, further empirical study at certain country level is recommended to capture a better understanding at the groundwork level of PSO. Through such future study, we do hope that a better understanding of how PSOs use the ISO 31000 standard could be obtained, especially on how effectively the implementation of ISO 31000 help them create and protect value of the organization sustainably. This is the end of our presentation. Myself and my colleague Al-Fatah Fisabila say thank you to the audience. We do hope that this study provides some useful reference for further study that could happen or could be taken in your country or in your organization. Thank you so much. Good day. Stay healthy.